Welcome back, Heart Warriors and Patreon subscribers, to our energy tips here for week 48, November the 24th till the 30th. I hope you guys had a good week last week. I know that some of you didn't, and so I'm trying to respond a little bit to this. As you know, this was a tricky week last week, and I want you to know that regardless of what you've gone through, it was not for nothing. I know that when we go through a little bit of a lull, when we go through, a lot of sort of past stuff coming back at us and perhaps even hitting us like a freight train, okay, that it can feel like no hope, things are never going to change, it's never going to be any different. But I not want you to know that with this coming week, this will all change. So what is happening here this next week is that there's a fresh level of understanding and reflection coming in. And, oftentimes, today is full moon here on Friday the 23rd. This makes it worse for people, but this week is actually going to be different, okay, because there's a certain potential reached here for us as humans somehow to realize that we are in the same boat, that we are, in this together. And I talked a little bit about this in the energy update here just a few minutes ago. All right, so you're going to see a lot more news media reports that things need to change, that, that certain organizations or even companies are now taking on a new task, a new mission, to do something about certain primarily environmentally issues. So I'm getting a really strong ping here in regards to the planet and the environment, and I think it has to do with some of the things that have been going on here in the last weeks, with hurricanes, with wildfires, but there's also, other things in the world than just what happens in the United States. So take everything a little bit with a grain of salt here, what comes in through the media, depending on where you live, okay? So there's a lot going on in the world towards, actively changing the way we treat the environment and the way, we as humans interact with our nature, with another even. So all this bad news, this fixation on bad news, and that everything is lost and that there's no hope, is also part of the bias, part of the agenda. So always remember that, you are more controllable if you feel desperate. Why is that? Because when you feel desperate, then you're going to have to cope. And how have we all been programmed to cope with things? That's through consumerism. That's through engaging in things that support, the system, that support sort of global commercialism, as opposed to, and this is what will be particularly useful here for next week, as opposed to going into inner stillness, into really actually dealing with things from within. So most of you, especially if you're younger, you're not really used to going within. You're used to constantly being bombarded from the outside, and so when things get still, you feel this as heaviness and you feel this as depression or anxiety, whereas really it's only a place of contemplation with yourself that can really give you a lot of guidance, that can provide you with things that give you sort of a stronger sense of purpose, a stronger sense of, why am I even here? Why am I even doing this? What is the lesson in this? Okay. So besides all this, there's going to be an influx of more optimism here this next week. Okay. So whatever it is that your inner voice is telling you that it's too late, or now that you messed up so badly, or that your choices in the past were so bad, it's not too late. It's not too late. So use this opportunity to expand. Every day is a new day to become a better person, to become, a higher expression of who you truly are. And this is what this is really about. you know, to really understand that your alignment to truth is what keeps you growing, is what makes you expand. Don't isolate. And I've talked about this in the energy update. This is not about you having to party or, you know, like having a lot of friends whom you can't even talk to about the deeper stuff. No, this is about understanding that human connection, you know, can up your energy, can increase your vibratory rate, as we call this here as energy workers. Okay, so it's really important that you don't isolate yourself this next week and actively go out and explore your options. You know, check out what kind of courses, what kind of sports maybe, or things that you know, book club or knitting club or, you know, meditation group, whatever it is that you come across, you know, that kind of spikes your interest. Go engage and give yourself a little bit of space to explore. Okay, this will really help you to grow. Overall, you know, the energy centers involved here next week are going to be 3rd and 4th, this barrier that I've talked about in the past between your solar plexus and your heart chakra. So this barrier between these two is what we are all collectively working on. It has to do with masculine and feminine energies. It has to do with allowing your higher spiritual understanding, you know, to guide you through your life. But it also has to do with getting away from ego gratification into a more purposeful or a more meaningful type of alignment. So you're going to be dealing with wanting to connect, but then at the same time feeling your pride or your specialness or, you know, other aspects of that come back in. And this is where you have to work on the balance here. Then your 5th chakra is now becoming really active. This is all about expression, about saying truth, you know, showing up in your truth, and really also finding confidence there. All right, so this your 5th chakra is all about expression, and as you will see here for the physical tips, also about tapping into your creativity. Your 7th chakra is still wide open, but you know, it's now that you've had a week to kind of calibrate yourself a little bit, you're going to be able to discern better. So the warning that I gave out last week, you know, to all those with unhealed inner spiritual warrior aspects, you know, you're going to be a little calm on that front now, and it's not going to be too overwhelming. I'm assuming that many of you had really intense dreams here these past days, and you know, today, you know, tonight here, like the early weekend, you're still going to have some of that, but this is going to gradually get better next week. It's really about, you know, sort of seeing, you know, what your inner guidance can bring forward, and learning to differentiate between the stuff that is coming in through the collective. And those of you who are very perceptive, you get a lot of collective stuff through the astral field. So the astral field that I talked about last week and the week before, you got to look at that kind of like the outer stratosphere of the planet. You know, this is where all the debris, all the trash, you know, the spiritual trash sort of gets recycled. You know, that's where it's kind of like a nowhere place, but it's in limbo. You know, and sometimes souls are trapped in there, entities can get trapped in there. People who you know, engage in a lot of drugs or psychedelic out-of-body experiences that they can't get out of, get trapped there. So this is basically the red light district and the casino, you know, for all sort of lower entities. Okay, this is where, you know, the most juice is, and that's why I warned you last week, because if you make that sort of part of your alignment, wanting to hang out there, you know, then it's only a matter of time till you get hit. Okay, so you got to be careful there because you can get lost in there. All right, so it's still going to be open here, your seventh chakra that connects you with the astral field, but it also connects you with your higher divine consciousness, and therefore, you just got to learn, how to differentiate between true guidance and true spirit guides and true input, from your higher consciousness versus lower vibrational entities and astral entities. Okay, there's still going to be a little bit of first chakra aspects. Those are aspects that come in for you from your inner child, from karmic aspects, but they're not going to be as deep as they were before. In other words, they won't really trigger anything in you. You'll see that it's still about reconciliation and closure here, but you won't feel as powerless or as hopeless anymore. So actually, even those of you who've had a rough week last week, you may be able to now see how going through this is actually helping you to get closer to this more reconciled you. Okay? Collectively, and on a planetary level, for most of us here, the experience will be a little easier, a little less disasters, a little more news about, how we can move into this stewardship for the planet, how we can help others, how we can show more compassion, how we can be more tolerant. You'll also feel sort of more justice. There will be some things, that in the last weeks and months actually have felt really unjust, really out of this world, disconnected with any level of decency or truth, who will come into more justice. Okay, so just wait and see. Okay, there will be, some news that will actually make you feel that you can believe in humankind again, so to speak. All right, so we all kind of begin to see here what the larger picture is and what needs to be done. And this will be part of this new optimism. All right, so superpower here can, of course, mean many things. So my titles, I don't know if you've noticed this, they're very ambiguous. They have a lot of different messages in them. Superpower here, on the one hand, means, yes, you're going to be able to tap into your talents, into your superpowers a bit more, but it also means that we're going to see some things in regards to the collective and how, if we really allow ourselves, our resources to connect, if we allow our common goals and our higher virtues to connect, that we all become sort of connected, or that we can tap into a more synergetic, super powerful energy field. Okay. Physically, guys, I'm not sure if it's really going to be that good. If you have chronic pain, obviously, this will, this whole transformation business that we go through here is quite challenging physically. Okay, but just take this seriously here. This next week, there's going to be issues with your cardiovascular system and also with your liver. Okay, so maybe you ate too much turkey yesterday, or maybe you drank too much alcohol. You're really going to have to support your liver. Okay, help it to detox, stay on that. Okay, expect your body to be a little stiff, to have joint pains, to have muscle pains. I don't know about you guys, I've been having this for 2 weeks already. It's kind of weird, to wake up and to feel this all over. So, just really take this as like you need to stretch more. And whenever this guidance come in to stretch more, it also includes etheric stretching. It also includes emotional stretching, you know, like becoming more flexible, becoming more tolerant, becoming more adaptable. Okay, but in general, you know, next week, stillness and really going within will be favored. Okay, it's just that you really don't want to isolate, so you're going to have to find something where you can, I don't know, maybe engage in a tea ceremony, or in a new sport, in a new a painting course or whatever. I mentioned this earlier. You know, really try new things. And by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a group of people like yourselves here that are in this deeper self-healing journey, that provide donation-based meditation and discussion groups all over the world. They use the Sacred Self-Healing course as you know, vehicle for this. So very deep meditations that teach energy work techniques on a beginner level, and you have to check this in the forum, in the transCODES energy forum, where these places are. We have them going on here in Florida, in St. Petersburg, in St. Louis area, in Chicago, nearby Chicago, in Germany, in California, in Australia, in Denmark. Guys, check this out. Okay, there's new meditation groups coming in almost, you know, every 2 months or so. So I'm not sure yet, you know, how far this will expand, but that's a great opportunity to connect with other people who are on this deeper inner self journey. Okay, emotionally, it'll still feel moody. You'll still feel like quite a few ups and downs. Okay, but it's not going to be as heavy as it was last week. So, you know, really understand that this is about choosing connection. Okay, so again here, don't isolate, because that's going to make it more heavy. That's going to give you more of an anxious or depressed type of feeling. You know, go out, but don't party necessarily. It's underneath all this, okay, is this really strong doubt that you're good enough, that, you know, that whatever it is that you're bringing into this world isn't good enough. And you know, for that, I all I can say is, if you really align yourself to, you know, seeing every day as a new opportunity to be better, to show up, you know, with your true talents, with your higher, you know, virtues, and you know, with who you truly are, you know, then you can see that these days where you feel a little low are nothing but integration phases, you know, where maybe some limitations get tested, you know, where some of your boundaries get tested, only to show you, you know, and motivate you to go beyond this. Okay. Mentally, I have a few phrases here for you, you know, that help you perhaps to remind yourself of your inner wisdom. Okay, because wisdom is a big subject here for the next couple of weeks, actually. So wisdom is not the same as knowledge, right? And it's not the same as knowingness either. So wisdom is the combination of what you have acquired, you know, your experiences, your knowledge, in combination with your inner knowing and your inner guidance. Okay? And so here are a few words of wisdom. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. There's wisdom behind these words, because they remind us of the fact that, you know, we can't grow without pain. Okay, so this is part of each and every person's experience, but we can choose if we want to suffer or not. And why is that? Because if we stop resisting pain, you know, and see it as something that can actually help us to become more resilient, you know, that can help us to show, you know, what's not good for us, that can help us to even listen inside, okay, then you can see your pain as a companion, you know, as part of your journey. So every study that was done on pain and in conjunction or in correlation with happiness, has shown that people who have learned to embrace and overcome gradual pain throughout their lives are the happiest people. So if we avoid pain or run away from pain, or freak out when we're in pain, we can never build resilience. Okay, and that's when anxiety and these really deep depressive states come in, because we think that going deep within, going into our deeper inner nature, even if it's painful at first, that it's something bad. It's not something bad. It's nothing that needs to be avoided, guys. It's something that needs to be embraced. Also, another energetic wisdom here is, if you get angry about your conditions, or perhaps angry at a person that you've identified, responsible, or whatever you get angry about, then remember that anger is better than fear and anxiety or pain and depression. So anger is a higher state energetically, and therefore allows you to actually put these changes into action. The only thing with anger is that you don't want to stay there. You need to move on. You need to grow beyond your anger as well. You can only use it as a jump board. Okay. Expand your knowledge, guys. It's really important to see, beyond, maybe your country's limitations, your country's news, your the value system that you've been raised in, because there is actually a really good body of people out there, that do understand what needs to be done, and the technology for that is there as well, whether it is being suppressed in your countries or not. Okay, so this can give you more hope. There are things that are already going on, and they may take another 2 years to fully implement for us. But there are things that can be done, and this is not utopia or science fiction anymore. Okay, this is real. All right. Socially, guys, stay open. Continued to what I said from last week. Try to connect with others. See the connection, with other humans as something that can bring in a higher vibratory field for you. Okay, so often, it's also in the sharing. So it's not necessarily that you need to get anything from others. Sometimes you can up your energy by sharing ideas, sharing visions. Okay, you just really need to make sure that you stay true with yourself in what you say and how you express yourself. Don't try to be somebody. Just be yourself. Commit to being yourself, and then you'll see that other people react to you differently. This is really, really big, once you understand that. So make sure, that you're not coming from a place of guilt or inadequacy or fear, what other people think of you. Understand that it's more about you, adapting, to new situations as you go. And yes, yesterday you made mistakes, and yes, that wasn't so good what you came up with yesterday. So what? Then move on, grow beyond it. Grow beyond. Okay? This week is the week of superpower in the beyond. Just not too far out. You don't want to drift off in Fantasyland, or unicornizing, as one of the Heart Warriors called it yesterday. Thank you. This was a really, really cool new word that I learned there. So unicornizing or futurizing, those are all words where we try to sort of sugarcoat, what we see, and try to make it special, try to make it mystical. Okay, and this leads me to spiritual aspects of next week. You got to really be careful to not misuse, some of the spiritual props or spiritual sort of insights that you have, or that you are about to experience, as anything that could help you to bypass 3D, you know, to bypass your humanness, to bypass, you know, your depression or your anxiety. Okay, so you can't meditate things away, guys. This is not what meditation is for. Meditation or mindfulness or going within is there for you to connect more with yourself. This includes your body. Okay, so this is what modern spirituality is. This has nothing to do with a belief system or with a the views or theories like in religion. You know, modern spirituality is all about really discovering yourself within yourself, but also in interaction with others. So, you know, don't misuse spirituality now as a different religion or a different way, you know, to feel more superior or, you know, better about yourself. It's not about that. Once you go into this inner place and you really connect with your heart and you find out, you know, what the true nature of this journey is, okay, you understand very quickly that the wisdom in doing this spiritual stuff is all about the simple things in life, you know, embracing the beauty of simplicity. This doesn't mean you can't have a smartphone or a car or anything like that. You know, for some people it does, but it's more about really discerning, you know, what is true to you and what isn't. And when you can do this, then, you know, just a lot of stuff falls away. You thought you had to have or you had to get, you know, and the simplicity really allows you to make better priorities, to filter your true virtues and your true values and your true priorities in life. Okay, so take this, you know, as a practice round here next week, as a practice round in aligning. Choose to connect. Choose love and self-love instead of pain or fear, because this is what determines your future. So your alignment in the moment of decision making is what determines your future. And, you know, when I said don't meditate this away, you know, not making a decision is not really going to help you, you know, past the alignment thing. Okay, not making a decision is an alignment to not wanting to take responsibility. And therefore, you know, everything that happens to you in the future will not have anything to do with your true purpose or with your true, you know, being. It will be something that happens to you because life happens to you. Okay, it happens to you. It's not, you're not in co-creatorship when you don't make decisions, when you don't choose. So that's a very common spiritual trap, guys, you know, to think that not choosing anything, you know, could get you out of the alignment or the karma problem. So that's not going to work. Energetically, it's going to be a really cool week to overcome things that you've been harboring maybe for quite a while, like the resentments toward being human, you know, towards your physical density, you know, that understand that some of this pain that I reported about in the beginning here has a lot to do with you are starting to connect more. And even if you haven't consciously chosen to do this, you know, this is part of our collective evolution. And as empath and energetically sensitive, you're just, you know, one of the first ones, you know, who's really learned to balance all this out. And this pain comes from not being connected. So really what you're feeling is your system, your energy body, you know, going into, you know, like literally not just giving you subtle hints or subtle cues, you know, that you need to change something or that you need to adjust your alignment, but it's going into open rebellion with you. Okay? So for those of you who haven't really felt pain-free or, you know, really good in their bodies for a while, use this week here to reactivate your original state, the state of being, you know, and this includes the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the social. You know, before all this life happened to you, you know, this state is still stored in your energy, okay, this original state, and you can reactivate this and bring this forward. So there's something that we call cell memory, and you guys have probably read about this or heard this with the energetic adjustment sessions that I do every month. They're stored in your mitochondrial DNA, in your mitochondria, okay? So your mitochondria are, you know, the spiritual components of your of each and every of your cells, and in there you have a template for the original state. You can reactivate this. We practice this in grace manifestation sessions, for instance, also grace mental heart fusion sessions. Okay, so go within, love your body. If you have parts of your body that are sick or that are, you know, not functioning that well anymore, then connect with them and really send love into these cells that are located there, you know, and ask them, you know, to reinstate the original state. And if you have issues with, you know, maybe recovery issues of some sorts, you know, that you've been misusing drugs or medications, or have done things to your body, even fast food or whatever, you know, allowed too many toxins in, then you can use that for recovery as well. Okay, so remember to love your body, because your energy and your physical 3D, they are linked with another. Okay, they work with another. So if you want to tap into that superpower, you know, to heal your entire energy body, then you got to go and remember the original state, even though this is just sort of a visualization. Okay. Self-coaching tip here for this next week is, am I true to myself? Am I presenting myself in a true way? You know, that's part of it. Is this mine, or is this not? You know, is this collective, or is this somebody else's? You know, those of you still with your family right now, this is a really important question. How can I grow beyond my own limitations? So all these limitations that you've been experiencing here over the last couple of days, see them as part of your learning process, okay? How can you grow beyond them? So focus on that, and you're going to set a really nice energy here for the last month of the year. Our giveaway, so I'm giving away 1 year membership for the Sacred Self-Healing course. Guys, this is a huge gift to you. Please write a review on my Facebook page. That's how you can qualify for getting the Sacred Self-Healing course. So the first one who writes a review on Facebook gets the membership. And then I have 10 transCODES notebooks. This is what they look like. Okay, oops. And I'm giving those away to each and every one of you who likes this video and shares it. Okay, I can see this here from my end. So like and share this video, and you can get 1 out of 10 transCODES notebooks or journals for yourself. You have to email me your address. Don't put them in the comments here for this video. Now, as you know, I'm always open to answering your comments, your questions. So please use the comments, to let me know how you're feeling, if you need any guidance to get through something, and also if you want to share what works for you. This is always very beautiful to read those. I hope this helps you to get through this week. Look forward to a lighter week, and actually a quickening that is coming in. So enjoy, and don't get too wrapped up in the holiday season that has now officially started in all supermarkets and stores and so forth. Thank you for coming. Hope to see you at the next live energy update on Thursday at 2 p.m. Bye-bye.